La 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 la. Is it recording? We've been asking for it, and Mitsubishi's back, baby, with a 3-row, all-wheel drive J-Spec SUV. And no, it's not a Montero, unfortunately. This is the Outlander. And really what this is for most people is a nice looking, smooth driving, quiet, comfortable, affordable 3-row SUV. And it has a small footprint with a 3rd row. It has a ton of room inside. That's what people really want, and it's priced well. Let's get into the looks. This one rolls on 20-inch wheels, and it just works with the nose of this car. I think it ties them together. The spoke design and the nose work together. The headlight is separated from the running lights, and the roof line and the hip line, they just look good. We've had a lot of people say, what is that? That looked awesome. I agree with them. They've really nailed that part. But there's a lot to see on the interior, and let's see what Craig has to say about that.
Diamond or rhombus? Diamond or rhombus? DSM, Diamond Starter Motors. There's diamonds everywhere in this interior. You get them on the stitching on the side, you get them in the seats, obviously you get in the Mitsubishi logo. There's a theme going on there, and I like it, and you kind of see it throughout here. This is shared with a Nissan Rogue. Usually when you see a shared platform, you see the first indicator is the steering wheel is exactly the same, despite the brand being different. That's not happening here. The Nissan Rogue is a completely different steering wheel. It's more of a T shape. This actually has the 4 spokes like you see in old Mitsubishis, and I love that throwback. That's a nice touch. Interior wise, this is the SEL trim. It's the upper spec, and it's pretty. It's a nice spot to be. You get nice stitching, you get nice contrasting dash. The dash is low and it's easy to see out of. You get the digital instrument cluster with dials that rotate like this, which look really cool. Apple CarPlay works flawlessly. With that, let's get into the shop and see what's under the hood and whether or not we take this thing up the hill. Welcome to the 4th gen GN Outlander platform. This bad boy's got the PR25DD, otherwise known as a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder direct injection engine, shared with Nissan, Renault, and some others. Believe it or not, this platform actually, yes, it's shared with Rogue, everybody knows that. But overseas, Mercedes makes a minivan out of this, Renault makes a minivan out of this. This is a very versatile platform, and we have no problems with that, and Brian will get into how that thing rides soon. This thing's good for 181 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired to an in-house designed Jatco CVT8. Jatco is their transmission house or shop, whatever you want to call that. All that being said, it's paired together, working seamlessly for a good 26 combined miles per gallon and a tow rating of, well, you just shouldn't tow with this thing, so don't worry about that. With that, let's get the suspension.
Time for nuts and bolts, and as you know, we start with the rubber on this show. This puppy runs on Bridgestone Acopias. These are 255 45/20s, and as you can tell, they are definitely a highway tire, definitely not an off-road tire, and that's totally fine for this vehicle's mission. They are quiet, and the wheels look killer, and the handling's actually really good. There's not a soft sidewall balloon thing going on here. It just tracks straight and true. We're happy with that. All right, time for the hardware, and the first thing I want to get into is actually the felt lining in the fender liner. Right here, front and back, and there's some belly pan treatment as well. That really pays dividends on this on the highway. It's actually shockingly quiet for this segment and for this price point. It just works here. We're really happy with that, and it's one of the best parts of this vehicle. Now, mechanically speaking, this is a front-wheel drive based architecture. This one happens to be all-wheel drive with a multi-link rear suspension. Nothing too crazy back there, kind of straightforward stuff. Up front, you do have a strut design suspension, not a dual wishbone, but you do have a lot of use of aluminum components, and that includes the knuckle and the lower L arm. That is the kind of stuff that keeps weight down and helps the dynamics and rigidity, which is all good. Up front, we do have a rear steer design and 2 pot pistons in the front, 1 pot in the rear. Beyond that, pretty straightforward. Now, let's get on the road and see if any of this stuff makes sense when we're driving. Look, it runs the 8th mile. It takes almost an 8th mile to hit 60.
Yes.
Right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not good.
The trap speed is 60. All right, Brian. 2.5 under the hood,
Ooh.
suspension, yeah, super all-wheel control. Let's see what it does on the streets.
20.
Okay, all right.
30. 40.
Yeah.
50. 60 and
Yes.
11.33. But also the 8th mile in 12.16.
Yeah, well, we did get a 0 to 60 run of 9.48
We did.
with just one person in the car, so that helped.
Right, which makes me concerned about this being a 3-row.
Well, again, the 2-rows are never going to be used.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so in all reality, let's talk about how this thing runs and drives. We've already gone through all the details.
Yeah, how's it ride and drive these 20s, baby?
Man, if you're not, it's kind of like the Pathfinder in that the first 20% of that shock travel is just, there's no dampening.
Right.
So it's super cloud and cushy. And then when it hits something new, it crashes.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, if you're just putting around, driving normally, taking your kids to school, it rides really good.
Nothing that's too crazy. It's surface.
Right.
You're fine.
Yeah, normal urban streets that aren't super choppy, it's pretty good.
And that's what's funny about this thing, because it's a crossover because people want to go be rugged and go outdoors.
Right.
We'll get to the Hipster Score later and maybe the overlanding aspect. But it's got all-wheel drive for that, so you can get to the trailhead, right? This is a vehicle with these wheels and shocks I do not want to take on any dirt road for any distance of time.
No, not at all. And by the way, it's not alone in that. That's half the segment these days. But this is one of those with defenders of those. Powertrain, though, you talk about the 2.5 and the CVT in the shop. I want to get into an issue we've really had with this.
Yes.
There have been moments with both of us driving this on different occasions.
In hot and normal weather.
Right. In my case, it was 95 degrees, give or take. I thought it was temperature related. Happened to you in 70-degree weather today, actually.
Yes.
To where it feels like either the CVT is slipping a lot or power is cut almost in half.
Something's going on.
Something's up. To the point that I think that 0-60 time might be near 15. I mean, it's dangerously slow.
And obviously there's something wrong with that. Surely that can't be a normal thing. If it was our car, we would take it to the shop, and I'm sure there may be something simple.
Totally. I'm sure it's a one-off, but I will say there's no warning lights. So whatever it is, it's a hidden warning. It's not telling us about it. It's saving itself from something.
Right.
So all that out of the way, I do want to talk about steering.
Okay.
At speed on the highway, this rack is so fast that I find myself making minor corrections and changing lanes.
It almost wanders like a Jeep does because it's so quick.
Well, and because you're fighting it back and forth. Now, that being said, in parking lot speed, man, it whips in quick to
This
a
isn't
parking
a
spot.
fun car to park in a spot because it turns sharp and quick.
Yeah.
It's got a good turning radius.
It's a great turning radius.
So for that aspect, it's great.
It's nailed it. The next thing I want to hit on is the actual MVH refinement is excellent.
It is.
Like all those minor criticisms we had, well, the CVT thing might be a bigger problem, but as an assessment of the vehicle, the MVH is shockingly low. I can't believe how quiet it is.
For this type of vehicle that's usually really loud and drony, it is not in this car.
And at this price point too.
It's quiet. You don't hear the engine, you don't hear anything.
Nothing. Really impressed with that. Wind noise is nothing. Road noise is nothing. Good job on that front.
All right, Brian. Hill test. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. We're not doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just wrap it up.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
All right, Brian. It's time for the Hipster Score.
Darn Skippy.
3, 2, 1. 0.
6. What?
0.
How do you get... You're just being obtuse. That's not a 0.
I'm not being obtuse. I'm being accurate.
Where are you getting a 0 from?
You clearly don't know how to do this anymore. You have completely forgotten. You used to be good at this. Now you've forgotten.
What?
It's a 0. You tell me a hipster that's got a Mitsubishi tattoo, and I'll believe you.
Hipsters don't do car tattoos.
But they do tattoos.
They do, but not.
They might do
not
a Prius.
car tattoos.
I guarantee you someone's got a Prius tattoo somewhere.
I hope not. Lord, I hope not. But what I'm getting at here is this is a thing that's designed to haul people. It's got a freaking CVT, which his only goal is to get fuel efficiency, which it does an okay job at. It can't be that bad.
He gets 26 miles a gallon.
That's not brilliant. Which means it should be at least a 5.
Could you overland this thing?
No.
Okay, so I got it right. Okay, enough of that.
Well, hold on. Actually, you could overland this about as much as
Go ahead.
a RAV4.
RAV4's got a real transmission.
That's a good point.
And some have TRD stickers.
Well, it's true. Or a Rogue for sure. Definitely can overland as much as a Rogue. I promise you that.
Okay, fair point. So, okay, all that out of the way, Brian. It's been a long time since we've been in a Mitsubishi.
Yep.
And because back in the day, they had a lot of cool things.
Look, we grew up on these.
It's been a while.
We grew up on these.
Yeah.
I remember, granted, in case I hadn't said no, Craig's older than I am, and his friends drove them in high school.
They're awesome.
And they were cool. The Mirage was
Eclipses.
like the entry-level thing.
Yes,
It was like,
the Mirage,
remember
yeah.
those, your buddy had one that was
They still make
red?
the Mirage, 3-cylinder.
They do. But this one's a 4 and it was still slow, but it was cool though. It was a cool car and it was a fun brand. It was kind of like the Japanese Pontiac in some ways. And so the Heritage, and in fact, I found myself when we drove this, the steering wheel being what it was felt like a 2013 Mitsubishi, like a Lancer.
I love the steering wheel.
And the nostalgia just like flashed back, and I go, "This is awesome!"
All these cool Mitsubishi things, like yes,
all the Rally, the Evo stuff,
Yeah.
Fast and Furious 1, all the nonsense.
the Montero off-road world,
Montero,
yeah. So some cool stuff.
There's some cool stuff.
With that though, Brian, who is this car for? Because we've been wrestling with that. We've been talking off camera a lot about, okay, who gets this? Why not get the Rogue?
Right.
Why get this? Why get this compared to other CUVs in the segment?
Man, we can spend a week on this, but I'm going to give a kind of a briefer version of that. You get this because you like the footprint of the Rogue, and you like the size of it. You don't want a bigger, because look, the Pathfinder's huge, right? The Explorers are big. All these mid-sizes, the Pilots, the Toyotas are huge. This has a third row.
Yes.
Granted, I'm not joking here. If your kids have legs, it might be a problem. I'm serious. Because what happens is you need to have 2 rows of 5-year-olds in booster seats. Then you can get the middle row up enough that they all fit.
Yep.
But we had a problem that with you in the third row, the second row was touching the front row.
Yeah.
Now, it is on sliders, so you can work with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's for the person that really doesn't research cars very much. And I don't mean that as a dig. They just go, I want something that's nice.
Check the
and
box.
Really quiet.
And they just get it.
And comfortable. And available.
Yeah, that's the factor right now.
And I must have a third row in a pinch.
Yeah.
It's a great option for that.
So let me put it on you. Would you get a Nissan Rogue or an Outlander for yourself?
Outlander.
You would get this over the Rogue?
Yes.
Why is
yes.
that?
Nostalgia is one.
Okay.
Okay, and because it is genuinely a three-way partnership vehicle, I don't think it's any more Nissan than it is Renault or Mitsubishi. In America, Rogue comes to mind first, but internationally, that's not the case. I got the feel goods when I drove this thing because of the flashbacks of that. Now, I do wish it had cooled seats.
Yeah, I'll say this. I like the styling of the Rogue better. I don't necessarily dislike this styling.
Yeah.
I don't think you've got the wrong pick necessarily. I think 2 rows make more sense in this footprint.
They
But
do.
the other thing I'll say about the advantage of this over the Rogue is you get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
That's the other thing too.
You don't get that in the Rogue?
That's a big deal. To a person who's not really a car person that's going to the finite spreadsheet of stuff, they go, wait a minute, it has a killer warranty and it's affordable and it's really nice?
Yeah.
Come on.
There you go.
It's a win-win.
With that, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned to all our social things for all the good stuff.
Texas
Brake
Truck
Check
Channel.
Show. Not Brake Check Show.
Get the wrong shirt on. Wrong
Get
shirt
the
on.
wrong shirt.
Texas Truck Channel.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.